Hey there, how you doing, Aquarius? This is your weekly reading. My name is Sherilyn, and this reading is going to be for Monday, September 1st through Thursday, September 4th. I'll be back on Wednesday to do bonus readings to get you through your week. Okay, that is the intention here. Anyways, let's see what we get. Okay, so this one's for my Aquariuses. Here we go. Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. Let's see what we've got. Okay. We're going to start this one off with the Four of Swords. To the Ten of Wands. And then the Page of Wands. This is your backstory or your recent past. Currently, I have you with the Empress, the Three of Swords, and the Nine of Cups. In the near future, we are looking at the Three of Cups, the Chariot, and the King of Wands. Alrighty, bottom of the deck for this reading is actually the Sun. Okay, so the undercurrent to this entire reading is the Sun. Sometimes that's the happiest card in the deck, and other times it speaks more of things being illuminated, because the card at the center of your read, so from almost every direction it plays into the equation, is the Three of Swords, which is all about heartbreak. I'm going to assume that this has more to do with illuminating things right now, is how I think this is playing in, but we'll see as we go. Okay, so at the center we have the Three of Swords. Like I said, that is basically about heartbreak. All right, let's see how it all plays in as we go. Okay, here we go, Aquarius. So we'll start with the recent past. Okay, I have the Five of Swords, the Ten of Wands, and in the challenge position I have the Page of Wands. Okay, so Five of Swords. Five of Swords is speaking of some sort of conflict. Okay, Ten of Wands is speaking of a very heavy burden. Page of Wands is speaking, depends on the situation. Here I think it's speaking of a desire for adventure. So here in the recent past, it would seem that I believe you were involved in some sort of union. It doesn't have to be romantic, but there was a lot of emotion involved anyways, okay? And you came to the conclusion, here we go with the light, so things were being illuminated to you, right? And you came to the conclusion when the sun shone down on things that you were definitely carrying the bulk of this union. Okay, you were the one who was, it was you putting in all the work, basically is what this is saying. And I do believe that that caused a conflict. That caused not only a conflict of interest, but an actual conflict with the other person involved here, or other people involved. At any rate, you were pulling more than what you were supposed to in this deal. Like you're pulling 96% and they're pulling 4%, right? That's how this feels. And you began to feel bogged down by this uneven situation, okay? And it caused you to like to sit and wonder what it would be like to not have all these responsibilities, to not be so bogged down by all of this that you're trying to carry, right? You know, carry in this relationship. With the Page of Wands, I feel like you were longing for adventure, a youthful situation, something where you didn't feel so constricted by all of these responsibilities, okay? That's what I see for the recent past, okay? All right, now we're going into the current. So currently, where you're at? Well, currently we have you at the Empress, the Three of Swords, and the challenge position is the Nine of Cups. Okay, so you're presenting here as the Empress, male or female, doesn't matter, it's an energy. But through this whole reading, I feel like you are the Empress, okay? All right, so you're the Empress. You're the Empress, and you're feeling heartbroken over what's been illuminated to you. It's like you almost kept your head in the sand, not wanting to see what was going on in your situation, okay? Not wanting to admit or see that you were being taken advantage of, or that the situation wasn't fair to you. I guess you just kept hoping it was going to balance out, but it doesn't look like that's what happened here. The truth of it all has you quite heartbroken right now, okay? With the Nine of Cups being in the challenge position, this is like you feel like your wish fulfillment, or whatever your wish is, was tied up in this, and now once you see the reality of the situation, it makes it feel like your wish fulfillment is slipping out of reach, right? That's how I feel right there. So there you go. Okay, where are we going in the near future? Now I have the Three of Cups, the Chariot, and then the challenge position I have the King of Wands. Okay, well, Three of Cups can be a reason to celebrate. It can be. The Chariot is all about forward motion and victory. And the challenge here is the King of Wands, which is really the Page of Wands grown up, huh? Okay. From the beginning, I didn't feel like this was a relationship, and I still don't. I feel like this is like a family member or a very close friend. This is somebody you're in tight with, but this is not a relationship, I don't believe. And I do believe that the King of Wands being down here, this really is an evolution from the Page of Wands to the King of Wands. So possibly the person who wasn't pulling their weight within your dynamic here in the near future does start to, they've gone through an evolution, and it looks as though they are trying to now step up to the plate, is how I feel about this. And that is, you know, well, that's a good thing. There you go. I don't know, this could be like, I don't know, a family member that lives with you and they finally go out and get a job, or, you know, a friend that's always mooching off you and all of a sudden they find their own way as far as financially. This feels very financially based, although I'm sure there's emotions involved too. The Sun, okay, so then behind that we have the Two of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. The Two of Pentacles behind the Sun is because that's what's been illuminated to you, is the fact that there was no reciprocity, or that there wasn't an even give and take here. The Queen of Wands is here possibly because the other person involved in this dynamic is somebody who was just out for themselves, or is, you know, just taking or getting what they wanted out of things, not considering what you were putting in or something. Feels like they were inconsiderate, but I don't know that it was done with bad intent. Okay, what else I got? I've got the Two of Wands, the King of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles. Two of Wands. So there's a crossroads. So you're at a crossroads right now. King of Pentacles to the Knight of Pentacles. That's like a, what do you call that when it's a de-escalation, or it's a instead of progression, it's the other way, right? King of Pentacles. So nothing's moving fast enough. You're not making this decision fast enough. Five of Wands, because you're conflicted. Queen of Swords. So now you're starting to look at everything from a very analytical standpoint. I wouldn't give up yet, because it looks like just about the time you're ready to give up is when things start to turn around for you within this dynamic, is what I see. At least this week, that's how it looks. Let's see what we got for Monday. You've got Temperance telling you to have patience, and Seven of Cups. So I feel like you have plenty of options as far as different ways to deal with this. But Spirit's telling you to hold off for a minute. I really think this is coming together for you by the end of the week. You're going to see progress. Ace of Pentacles, a new opportunity, and Eight of Wands, some kind of new communication. Tuesday, there's some kind of communication coming towards the other person in this dynamic. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a job offer or something. A settlement, a job offer, something. Wednesday, I've got the Page of Cups and the King of Swords. This is this person trying to act very analytical and coming towards you with some kind of apology. And Thursday, I've got the Three of Wands and the Four of Pentacles. Trying to look towards your future. Four of Pentacles. You're still holding on to something. You're still holding on to this, I think. I don't think you're ready to throw this whole thing away. I don't. I think this is, I don't think there was any negative intent here, but I do think things got out of hand, and there's definitely a lack of reciprocity within this situation. But it looks to me like this person's trying to turn this around here in the near future. So maybe they see the error to their ways. This is definitely financially centered, focused on finance. And I don't believe you give up. With the Four of Pentacles, it looks like you're still hanging on. There you go. I hope that made sense. But anyways, it looks like you've been in an uneven situation, and it looks like somebody's going to come to that realization and try to start to even it out. Okay, that's what I got for this week, Aquarius. That's how this looks to me. All right, I hope this helps.